G'day and welcome to another episode of Life in the Rowboat. As I've shared previously, I've become increasingly surprised at the number of times throughout the New Testament that we find Jesus doing something in and around boats, or Jesus relating to people who had a strong connection with boats as a result of their employment. And I've come across yet another passage that talks about Jesus in a boat. It's found in Matthew chapter 8, and I'll start reading at verse 23. Now, when he got into a boat, that is Jesus, his disciples followed him. And suddenly a great tempest arose on the sea, so that the boat was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. Then his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, "Lord, save us! We are perishing." But he said to them, "Why are you fearful, O you of little faith?" Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. I want to look at this passage by, first of all, looking at that word in verse 26, where Jesus says to them, "O you of little faith." The Hebrew word picture behind faith is what comes from faithfulness. Now, I don't know about you, but I've struggled with the whole concept of faith on and off throughout my life. I think there's something in my past that has created that struggle. I think the root cause of it is this understanding or this teaching that has come across that faithfulness is about me. I need to generate faith, or I need to have an active part in expressing faith. But the word picture changes our approach to understanding, because faith is what comes from faithfulness. Now, my faithfulness isn't going to give me faith. It has to be the faithfulness of another that gives me faith in that person. If we go back to our analogy of the rowboat and the reality that Yeshua, Jesus, is the coxswain in our rowboat, when we are looking to him, when we're heeding his voice, we're actually encountering his faithfulness. We're engaging with his faithfulness. And so our source of faith actually lies in the person and work of Yeshua. Earlier on, we looked at the role of the coxswain, and we said that the coxswain is the only person in the boat that's facing towards the future. That gives us an interesting lens through which to view this passage of Scripture. Yeshua gets on the boat with the disciples, and his focus is on the future. That enables him to go and lie down and fall asleep. However, the disciples' focus, which, following our analogy of the rowboat, should have been on the faithfulness of Yeshua, who was with them in the boat, their focus was on the surrounding environment. It was on the storm that was causing the waves to crash over their boat. This is a real lesson for us, that so often we can be distracted by the storms of life. We can be distracted by the circumstances that we're currently living through. And in so doing, we forget who it is who's in the boat with us. And we forget that he is the one who has taken on the responsibility of keeping an eye out for what's happening in the environment surrounding our rowboat. So often I put my hand up and say, yes, this is me. So often we act and react just like the disciples. And hence Jesus' question to them, why are you afraid? And his gentle rebuke, O ye of little faith. If we want to reverse that scenario, we need to begin to understand that our faith is what comes from faithfulness. Our faith comes from the faithfulness of Yeshua and all that he's accomplished for us on the cross. Again, it links us back to the ark. Stepping into the ark is one thing, but the reality is that the ark is symbolic of the work of the cross. When we're in the rowboat with Yeshua as our coxswain, we experience the fullness of the work of Yeshua on the cross, and the cross is the resounding image of Yeshua's faithfulness to his Father and his faithfulness towards us. Look forward to catching you soon with another episode from Life in the Rowboat. Trust you'll take the opportunity to check out my website, www.richardeagle.com. See you soon.